G'day golfers. Are you learning anything when you play? The fact is, you can become your own golf coach, at least to a degree. We're not saying that you should dispense with the lessons with your local golf pro. Keep on with those. But what you need to do is really start to learn from the shots that you're hitting, both on the golf course and on the driving range. You need to gain some awareness of what's going on. You need to get some quality feedback. Ask yourself, do you keep making the same mistakes over and over again? Well, if you do, then you're in the right place. We can help you to understand what's going on with the golf ball, why it's doing what it's doing, and help you to improve. Welcome to Aussie Golf Pros. So what you need to get into the habit of to learn from these shots is you need to ask yourself some questions. There are three key questions that you need to ask yourself. If we can get the right answers, then we can understand exactly why the ball's done what it's done. So question number one, how did you contact the golf ball? Where on the club face you struck the golf ball is going to have a really big impact on how far it goes, how high it goes, and what direction it goes. Now that's difficult for a lot of golfers. For tennis players, it's easy. There's a big racket, you get a lot of feedback from the vibration through the shot. And for cricket, the same, it's easy, but with golf, it's a little bit more subtle. The feelings are there though, and I want you to start to train yourself to understand where on the club face you struck the golf ball. Now I could feel from that shot that I hit it slightly out the toe of the club. So I caught it just there, just out the toe a little bit, and that put a hint of draw spin on the ball. Not a lot with an iron, it's a lot more with a driver. It's called gear effect, and we're going to go into that at another date. Then we need to really get an idea of how high up the club face we struck it as well. And most golfers can tell whether they've caught the shot thin or heavy. So thin meaning that it's down on the bottom of the club a little bit, low on the face, you haven't hit any grass. And if you hit heavy, too much grass, then the strike is going to be up the face a little bit more. Now, if you really can't get an idea of what that feels like, then you need to get stuck into it on the range and train yourself to get some quality feedback. So pop up in the corner here and we'll show you how to do just that. Question number two, what was the face angle? Which way was the club face pointing at impact? And watching the golf ball through the air really does give you an indication of what that's done. If the ball curves to the left, for the right-hander, then quite simply, the face is closed, as long as you struck it okay. If the ball curves to a right for a right-hander, then the face is open. Simple. A lot of golfers go through this process of, well, what did my weight transfer do? Did I hang back? What did my elbow do? Where's my head? A lot of different factors that golfers are thinking about, but we've got to understand what's happening at impact. That's the only thing that the golf ball is going to react to. You've got to understand the interaction between the club and the ball and the turf. And that's really going to stand you in good stead. Now, we're not saying that you hit a golf shot, you ask yourself that question, okay, I've faded that one, I must have left the face open, I've got to adjust it on the next shot. Don't do that. Give yourself a chance to correct it subconsciously. Think of your brain as a computer, and we need some input, we need some programming. That's all we're doing here, we're just being aware of what's going on. Give yourself a chance to self-correct autonomously without really trying to steer the club open and closed all the way around. You're going to end up going left, right all day long. Give yourself a chance to self-correct. And if it's still not happening, then get onto the range and work on it. If you keep drawing shots, then hit some fades on the range. If you keep fading shots, then do the opposite, try to hit some draws. We've talked about that before. You can correct shot patterns through doing exactly the opposite. So question number two is, what's the face angle? And you really have to look at the shape. Not where it finishes generally, but the shape of the shot in the air. That means it's got side spin on it, and that means that the club face is either open or closed. Third and final question, swing path. If you want to simplify it, the direction of your divot. So there's some feedback for you. Keep an eye on your divot to see which way it's pointing. I didn't take much of a divot there, just a little bit of a scuff mark. But we're also looking at where the ball's starting. That's going to be a really good indicator for you of the swing path that you're generating. Now, club face can also affect where the ball's starting. There's no doubt about that. If you've got a very open club face, then the ball is going to start right. And if you've got for a right-hander, and if you've got a very closed face, then the ball is going to start left. But it's just going to give you an indicator. So you've got the divot to look for and look for where the ball started. That ball started just right of target, and then it had finished off just left of target. So we know the club face was a little bit closed with question 2, creating that draw, but it started just right of target. So that indicates that my swing path was actually just right of the target. In to out. So when I came into the golf ball, I approached a little bit too much from the inside if I wanted a dead straight shot, and the swing path was going a little bit in to out, and therefore the ball started just right of target. And that's all there is to it. Now, do you think that's an oversimplified analysis of a golf shot? Then great, please hit that like button, because that's what we're trying to do here, is simplify the game. But if you're playing golf without any feedback, then you're like throwing darts at a dartboard blindfolded. You can't get any improvement from that because you don't know where you're missing. And the fact is that a lot of golfers don't actually ask themselves why the ball went where it did. Or if they do, they say, oh, well, I don't know. I've asked many golfers, so why do you think the ball did that? And the typical answer is, I don't know. That's not good enough. You can work it out. You can understand why the ball has gone where it's gone. What's your typical response to a golf shot? Is it anger, frustration, disappointment, or just indifference? Any of those reactions are emotional. And all right, so have an emotional response, get it out of the way, and then learn something. Give yourself some quality feedback, because quality feedback leads to greater awareness, and greater awareness leads to improved control. See, your brain is a computer, and if you're not giving it input, if you're not giving it programming, then it's going to spit out the same information time and time again, i.e. you're going to keep making the same mistakes over and over again. You have the power and the ability to change that pattern through some quality feedback. Good luck. Are you the best golfer you can be?